for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah, talking reparations. America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all in Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regret, we only facing the threat.
This is the sound of Erika Kirk.
It's a cut on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking straight, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine, you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans, and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine, you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me?
Right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your Sunday Vitamins. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time Queen Goddess goes live. All right. So with that all being said, let's get ready to get back into it. All right. Hello, Buckhorse DC. Bronze Flat Power Goddess in the virtual building. Nessa G, Pretty Wings, We the People, 504 NOLA. All right, above all that drama. Shout out to my moderators because y'all know they be putting in work. Okay. Leon is here. All right, so let's get into it. All right, Face the Bully is in the virtual building. Okay, so shout out to all of my loyal royals and everyone tuned into the Queen. I see you, Bronze Flat Power God. So before we get started, let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes Hair Oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Kratz. You can also find it at Walmart.com. And don't forget she sells beard oil. Okay, so let's get into it. Because what I find interesting is that there are currently protests going on in Budapest, Budapest, Hungary. Okay, and it's about the Hungarian Prime Minister, Viktor Orban. Okay, some child abuse scandal has unfolded. And I find it interesting because this man is one of Trump's allies and Trump has praised him publicly. Okay, and by the way, they're protesting Trump as well. Okay, but we'll get into that. So Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban, main challenger on Saturday, led tens of thousands of demonstrators through the streets of Budapest in a protest over alleged child abuse in state-run juvenile institutions, an issue that has already shaken Orban's government following a scandal last year. Now, the demonstration called by Orban's top rival, Peter Magyar, came in response to the videos published this week depicting employees of a juvenile correctional facility in Budapest physically abusing children that were housed there. Now, the former head of the facility, who is in police custody on suspicion of operating a prostitution ring, okay, amongst other crimes, mind you, has also been accused of subjecting minors to physical and sexual abuse. This is also egregious. Now, they say the police raided the correction center this week or last week. Okay, this report came out yesterday. Though critics have accused Orban's government of failing to act despite reports of misconduct going back for years. Now, Magyar, whose center-right Titsa party is polling ahead of Orban's Fidesz in most independent surveys. Now, it has jumped on the case and accused the government of failing to protect vulnerable children and called on Orban to resign. Elections are expected to take place in April. Now, the Hungarian government's communications office did not immediately respond to a request for comment. They say the crowd Saturday gathered in cold temperatures in central Budapest and marched solemnly across the Danube River. Many marchers lit torches as dusk fell and began climbing towards Orban's offices on Castle Hill. They say one marcher, Sandor Hrvat, who traveled some 200 miles to the protest from Titsabeks on the Ukrainian border, said he believed Orban's government will be gone by the time of the elections. Okay, that's in April. So in other countries, the entire government has fallen over this scandal. But here we see them clinging to power, tooth and nail, he says. Now, the abuse of minors in state-run institutions has previously caused a political crisis for Orban's government. In 2024, Hungary's President Katalin Novak and Justice Minister Judith Varga resigned amid public outrage stemming from their endorsements of a pardon for a man convicted of helping to cover up cases of child sexual abuse in a public orphanage. This is all just so sad and egregious. Now, the scandal represented a rare moment of weakness for Orban, who has led Hungary with near total power since returning to office in 2010. Magyar, a former insider within Orban's Fidesz party, burst into Hungary's political spotlight as the case unfolded, accusing the government of misconduct as well as corruption. Addressing the crowd assembled outside the government's executive headquarters on Saturday, Magyar drew parallels between last year's pardon scandal and the more recent child abuse allegations, saying 22 months ago, a country put a question to the Hungarian government. Can it change and improve the situation of children? Or will it remain an accomplice of child abusers? Honey, they should be asking the United States the same question, in my opinion. Now, Orban's government promised everything, but since then, unfortunately, it turned out that every member of the Orban government took the side of the abusers, according to Magyar. Orban's government has condemned the physical abuse seen in the published videos, while arguing that the case of child abuse coming to light showed that Hungary's child protection system was working effectively to root out wrongdoing. Now, still several government figures, including Orban, have emphasized that the juvenile residents of the facility had been placed there because they'd committed crimes or engaged in other misconduct, depicting the institution as a prison for minors. Okay, so that's supposed to make it okay to abuse them physically and sexually? Okay, please make it all make sense. Do y'all hear this? Do y'all hear this? I find it also egregious. Okay? Anyway, and when the government's involved, that's when you know you're not going to get anything, anything done about it 9 times out of 10. So anyway, with that all being said, Viktor Orban and Donald Trump are generally considered political allies, especially in the context of recent years, okay, and Trump's presidency. Their relationship is based on shared political views and mutual support, though it's not a formal alliance in the treaty sense. It's more of a personal and ideological alignment between leaders. Okay, so I just want you all to pay attention because Trump's always hanging out with people who are involved in something nefarious happened to children. Okay, Epstein, Prince Andrew, whom he claimed he didn't know. Okay, and a host of others that also hung out with Epstein. Ghislaine Maxwell, okay, Bill Clinton, I'm just saying. Okay, so, but by the way, nothing has been said that, or it has not been alleged that these people, Bill Clinton and Trump, have done anything nefarious. Just that they were hanging out with Epstein and flew on his planes a myriad of times, okay? So anyway, both Orban and Trump emphasized nationalism, hardline immigration policies, and skepticism toward what they see as globalist institutions. Trump has praised Orban publicly, like I said, calling him a strong leader and expressing admiration for his policies. Now, Orban has visited Trump at the White House and described the relationship as a new chapter or even a golden age in U.S.-Hungary relations under Trump's own administration. The U.S. under Trump has granted Hungary waivers from certain sanctions and taken steps to restore cooperation that had cooled under the previous U.S. administration. Now, I want you all to pay attention because it seems like Trump's getting in bed with a whole lot of nefarious people as of late. Okay, let's go to some of the protesting in Hungary. Okay, currently. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, so I find it interesting that both Trump and this man are they're having protests against them. Find it all very interesting. And these protests are huge, okay? There are lots of people out there. And this just reeks of government corruption, which is what we usually hear of when it comes to Trump. Okay, so they say the biggest current protests in Budapest are about the major child abuse scandal, which we already know. They say tens of thousands of people marched in the capital after videos and reports were released showing physical abuse of children. Also sad. But now, why are they protesting against Trump? Why are they protesting against Trump? Well, it has something to do. Hold on, let's go to this other protest over in Budapest. But they're protesting against Trump about the Army-Navy football game. Okay, because Trump showed up in Baltimore, and I guess he wasn't welcome. Here we go. Okay, these people are out there protesting, and rightfully so. Now, meanwhile, there's a huge protest. There was a huge protest in New York. Let's go to that footage. Likes up, everyone. Please don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance.
Hands off 2025 protests going on. And this is New York. And New York is standing up. They standing strong. They out there deep as hell. Deep. Sheesh. They protesting deep in Washington as well. I mean, the hands-off protest seems to be a success. Everybody is out there. Everybody is out there standing for what they truly believe in. And these protests are still going on as I speak. But what I have noticed from viewing all these different protests, not too many minorities are out there. I see a lot of people chose to stay at home. A lot of people decided to sit their ass down for this one, which I totally understand because I am one of them. Who knows how long these protests are going to go on? Some states it's raining, but they still out there with umbrellas and all. Stand up for what you believe in, America.
Okay. The end of the day, you don't see the black folk out there, honey, okay? Because the majority of us didn't vote for Trump, and now those that did have buyer's remorse. There also were hundreds of Hillsborough students that staged a walkout to protest ICE. Okay, this was reported on yesterday. Let's go to this footage.
I'm out here so I can spread awareness of the deportation of ICE, especially for those who can. And it's just like something that's affected our community very deeply. And I feel like us coming out to protest really shows how affected we really all are.
No more violence, no more life. Fight for ICE and say goodbye.
I think it just shows the connection we have in our community, and that, you know, when we all put all of our minds together, we can actually accomplish something that's very impactful.
We want justice, we want rights, we want ICE out of sight.
It means a lot to all of us, those who were impacted by the ICE, the terrorism that ICE has been inflicting on our community. I want to thank every single person who came out here today to like all of these people show up. Like, this is crazy. My parents worked so hard, and now they're living in fear because of what's going on. My two uncles, they were detained 2 weeks ago. I'm doing this for them and for everyone else who has been taken.
My family has been affected, specifically my cousin. I got some news that he won't be able to come back here. He won't be able to stay here. And we don't know what's going to happen with his family. And I don't know what's going to happen with my family as well. I feel proud because I know I have a voice and I'm speaking for everyone. All the immigrants, my family, my friends, everyone who's been affected by ICE. I just felt that I needed to be here.
I find it also interesting. At the end of the day, ICE is really just, walking around here like the Gestapo. Okay, at the end of the day, and they're depriving these people of their rights and freedoms. And I just think it's also egregious. And quite frankly, I find it absolutely nefarious because, in my opinion, the Mexicans, yeah, they're part owners to this country as far as I'm concerned. Okay, more so than some people. They have more rights to this country than some of these people that came from Europe and elsewhere. I'm just saying, at the end of the day, I mean, the Mexicans don't look just like the natives for no reason. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, let's talk about Erika Kirk, honey. She's at her grifting. Okay, she is at her grifting on a memory. All right, ain't no place she'd rather be than on a grift, clearly. All right, so let's talk about it. Because she had a dinner at Mar-a-Lago where she charged $10,000 a plate for a fundraiser, she says. Let's get into it. Erika Kirk, the widow of Charlie Kirk and current CEO of Turning Point USA, the conservative nonprofit that he founded, mind you, hosted a black tie fundraiser at Mar-a-Lago early December. The event appears to have been a fundraising gala for Turning Point USA held in Palm Beach at the private club owned by former President Donald Trump. Okay? Wait a second. Why did they call him former President Donald Trump? Was that a typo or wishful thinking? But let's continue. Okay, so anyway, many posts on social media and some news columns claim the dinner plates were priced at $10,000 each and that the event served as a major fundraiser for Turning Point USA in honor of Charlie Kirk's legacy. So I'm sorry, having a high-priced dinner while people are out here struggling. Many people can't even make ends meet. So that's supposed to help his legacy by grifting? Oh, okay. So anyway, with that all being said, I find it all so interesting. Let's go to some footage of Miss Erika Kirk and what people had to say about her, because people absolutely had a whole lot to say, including Nick Fuentes. And something else. Do you all remember they said there was no autopsy report done on Charlie Kirk? Well, I find that interesting considering something that his wife said. Okay, so we're going to get into that. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. Here we go. And also, let's not forget how she has been grifting ever since this man's death. Okay, let's talk about it. She went on, and this is just in the past 3 months. She's done all these press stops, more than many people could do in a whole year. Okay, please pay attention. She was on Fox News, she was on Hannity, Fox and Friends, Megyn Kelly, the New York Times Deal Book Summit. She was there. And now this 10K plate fundraiser at Mar-a-Lago. Okay, and then let's not forget the memorial she had days after Kirk's death, with over 100,000 people in attendance, trying to monetize his death. Okay, so anyway, and this isn't all just about money. As far as I'm concerned, most of it's about money. Okay, but at the end of the day, this is about pushing a narrative, and they definitely have an agenda, pushing their white Christian nationalism, okay, and all of that. But let's continue. Lights up, everyone, please like and share.
It's on her. I know my husband started to speak out against ill and lose lots of donors for Turning Point USA, but he really observed the Sabbath a lot. So please don't stop giving me the money tour.
Strongly believed in observing the Sabbath.
50 plus books on our bookshelf about the Sabbath. Friday night, Shabbat Shalom.
The Sabbath is God's answer.
Our Sabbath dinners.
Weeks before Charlie's assassination, he finished what would become his final book.
Or did he?
Finished this in July when we were together as a family.
Together as a family part seems kind of random. What do you want us to know? You have witnesses?
Planted like an anchor.
What is she looking at?
Read in your book.
Wait, whose book?
Read in your book that when in Charlie's book, when
I've
always been a writer.
Really?
We knew that you had all these thoughts
about the Sabbath.
Erika Kirk wrote the foreword.
Perhaps more than the foreword.
I knew Charlie so deeply in a way no one could.
Why would she feel the need to state what should be obvious if it were true?
And say with certainty,
this is true. He said this. This is true.
The words you hold in your hands were the convictions he lived by.
Why does she feel the need to sell us on this?
You read this book.
You haven't been able to read the end of the book yet.
This is like a widow word puzzle.
These are his last words. You only get so many firsts and lasts in your life. It's the first that I'm reading my husband's last and final book that he wrote. When you finish that, that's the last time you read it.
Unless you read it again.
I mean, you read it again, but it's the last first.
Now, being that she has said that there is no light between them, does she expect us to believe she didn't read the final draft of this thing? Erika Kirk.
I find it all interesting. This lady is so full of BS. Okay, quite frankly. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. I'm going to use an overlay for this, just in case that this is on YouTube as well. This is Nick Fuentes, who couldn't stand Charlie Kirk. They were clearly rivals, but him talking about Erika.
Say anything about Erika Kirk because she's a grieving widow. And so that's just decency. Nobody wants to attack a young woman who lost her husband to a vicious public execution and now has 2 fatherless children. That being said, nobody would be saying anything if she went home and grieved, but she didn't do that. She immediately assumed control of Turning Point USA, which already was one of the most influential, powerful, conservative nonprofits and for-profit entities in the conservative movement, and which became far more powerful after Charlie died because of his apparent martyrdom. So within 72 hours, she becomes Charlie's successor. And now she's in Washington, D.C., it seems, all the time, with J.D. Vance, with Donald Trump, with all these other powerful people. Now, I'm going to tell you what I don't like. I don't like when people take tragedy or a sob story or something that's emotionally impactful and they use it as cover so you can't ask questions or criticize. And I feel like that's what is happening here. Like I said, if she were a widow grieving, no one should or could say anything about her. It would be out of line. But we're not talking about Erika Kirk, the grieving widow. We're talking about Erika Kirk, the president of Turning Point USA and close personal friend of J.D. Vance, heir apparent of MAGA. We can't ask questions about who this person is. We can't criticize or be skeptical of who she is because she cries. See, that I feel is manipulative, and that I don't like. So when people start to tell me for emotional or moral reasons, you can't ask that question, that's when I get even more suspicious. So Erika Kirk, I don't know her, and that's sort of the thing. Who really is she? I don't think anybody knows, actually.
Okay. Now, I actually can't stand Nick Fuentes. Okay, he's such a wanton supremacist with his ugly little self. But at the end of the day, that's exactly what's going on here. Okay, people are not supposed to ask questions or say anything because she's a grieving widow, but she's clearly grifting and has been doing so since her husband's death. Okay.
You and I are part of a very small club. Painful. But you're in good company, and I will pray for you. It sucks, doesn't it? Hate is hate. It's evil.
This lady is so fake. Okay, I'm sorry. I cannot take her seriously. She just looks like she's putting on. Okay, that's all. Putting on for the gram, if you will.
Charlie and I have always been very clear on our stance. Israel and Jewish people. It's awful. Awful. Anti-Semitism is what healing factor comes out of hating Jewish people? What healing factor comes out of hating Christians? What healing factor comes out? Hate in general. Nothing. Nothing. Charlie always would say very clearly, Jew hate was brain rot. He would always say it. We've been to Israel twice together. And to be able to walk in the place where our Lord walked and see the Bible come to life in Technicolor, how could you hate that place?
Okay, I can't. I just can't. This lady is so fake. I cannot take her seriously. Like I said, it is just cringe. Now, listen to this, okay? Because the person that posted this said, when you give liars the rope, they will eventually hang themselves. Now, I want y'all to pay attention because they did say, okay, I remember reporting on it, that Charlie Kirk did not have an autopsy. That's what they said, which I thought was interesting.
Everyone always has to think there's more to the story. Well, sometimes there's not. I've seen the autopsy report. I've seen our case pulled together.
What did she say?
I've seen the autopsy report.
Y'all heard that? She said she's seen the autopsy report. Okay. New leaked dispatch audio stating no autopsy on Charlie Kirk. I played this for y'all before. Okay, so what autopsy report did she see, and why did they lie and say there wasn't one? Okay, I have questions.
Oh, I did do the request. They emailed me back. He did not go in for an autopsy. The death certificate was signed by the doctor at the hospital. Oh, okay. Can you just do a field clip documenting that? I'm sorry, 10-9? Can you just add a step to the case documenting that there was no autopsy?
This is insane.
Again, everyone.
And she said everyone always has to think there's more to the story. Listen, everyone doesn't always think there's more to a story, but usually when we do, there usually is. Okay, there's that. Usually when people think there's more to a story, there absolutely is. Okay, that's just my opinion. Now, with that all being said, let's talk about this mother who was pregnant, this Black woman in Atlanta. It was a sad story. And she was brain dead, and they kept her on life support for a while. Now, this was months ago, and sadly, she's passed. Her child was delivered via C-section, but her mother comes to speak out. And this speaks to those, bans on abortion, right, from the Trump administration. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Here we go.
By ABC senior political correspondent Rachel Scott with the story stirring deep emotion.
Byron, and it is a tragic story. It's an example of the confusion that has happened in some states after the fall of Roe versus Wade, raising questions about what doctors and families can do in the rare instance where a woman is pregnant and legally dead.
You know, you just want to scream. You just want to scream, you know? She's my daughter, my first daughter.
It's an unimaginable pain that April Newkirk has held on to for months. What do you want people to know about Adriana, your daughter?
She was just like a ray of sunshine. She loved her family and her friends. She was very, very smart.
In February, her daughter Adriana Smith was 9 weeks pregnant, expecting her second child, when suddenly her health spiraled, her story making headlines across the country.
Adriana Smith has been on life support since February.
A pregnant woman kept alive after being declared brain dead in Atlanta.
It's one of the most shocking and rarest cases in the world. The 30-year-old brain-dead woman was kept on machines, continuing her pregnancy for 4 more months.
Did the doctors give you any choices to make? Any options?
The option was that there's a law in place and they have to follow the guidelines of the law. So I guess the heartbeat law, and the baby did have a strong heartbeat. He was going to be treated as the patient, not Adriana.
The case raising serious ethical, moral, and legal questions about continuing a pregnancy for a woman who has already been pronounced dead.
It is extremely unprecedented to have a mom who is brain dead, sustained on life support, starting from the first trimester.
The biggest and most startling and disturbing fact is this one was 9 weeks. That baby's going to be inside a dead body for a very long time.
Amazingly enough, there were only 4 cases in which the brain death was diagnosed in a pregnant woman before 14 weeks.
Is it worth it to try and save a fetus to become a child in a dead woman?
This case sparking a nationwide debate about a state's controversial abortion law.
I don't know, beloveds. To me, that seems, I don't know, something about that does not seem morally right. What do y'all think about that? That just does not seem right to me. This woman is dead. Okay, and you're keeping the fetus in there. Oh no, that just seems creepy for me, but let's continue.
The possible unintended consequences and the family's right to choose.
I feel like we should have had a choice, but we didn't. I really think it should be a choice. I just do.
April's grandson, Chance, is now 6 months old and still fighting for his life in the hospital, unable to breathe on his own. April's sitting down with ABC News for an exclusive network interview.
Now, here's the thing. I'm not going to keep interrupting, but you see this, what they have done. So this baby has been born, but probably with a host of problems. And then the mother is dead. Who's going to be left to take care of this child? The grandmother? This is a sick child like this. I don't think they should have done this. This is just, oh no, this is really cringe.
I'm going to stand up and I'm going to speak for my daughter. And I'm going to advocate for other women too.
April says Adriana had big plans, a new job, school, and then shared even bigger news. She was pregnant, expecting her second child.
When did you start to realize that something was wrong with Adriana?
And I think she was having really, really, really bad headaches. Really, really bad, to the point where that's when she went to the hospital. She got a prescription, something like, a little stronger than Tylenol that they give pregnant women, but she didn't have a CT scan done.
April says Adriana was sent home by the hospital, but then things took a turn.
She was unresponsive. She was gasping.
This time, Adriana was rushed to a different hospital. This one, part of the Emory healthcare system, where she worked as a registered nurse. Her diagnosis was devastating.
CT scan showed that there were blood clots everywhere. Everywhere. They waited a day to see, what was going on and run tests and stuff like that. I stayed overnight. I didn't leave her. She never woke up.
Adriana was placed on life support on February 9th.
They declared her brain death February 19th. And actually, that's what's on a death certificate, February 19th. The fetus at the time had a heartbeat. So they said that they would treat the baby as the patient, and she was no longer the patient because of the law that they have here in Georgia.
Did you feel in those moments that you had clarity from the doctors?
The clarity was there was nothing that I could, nothing that they can do but treat the baby as a patient. I mean, her dad, we talked about it. We were really like, we really don't have a choice. So I was just like, well, maybe she'll come back to us. Maybe she'll find her way back to us.
When did you start to feel that hope was gone?
I did see her changing, her skin changing, her body changing. So when I first saw her, she looked like my daughter, As time went on, she just started changing.
We reached out to Emory Healthcare in April for consent to release Adriana's medical records to ABC News. April declined to give permission. Georgia's law, known as the Life Act, went into effect after Roe v. Wade was overturned in 2022. It bans abortions as early as 6 weeks of pregnancy. The law only allows narrow exceptions for medical emergencies, rape and incest, and medically futile pregnancies. Georgia law also deems fetuses living distinct persons with the same rights.
We were so thrilled to finally have legislation that, at least from a heartbeat on, would save countless lives and spare precious women the regret, pain, and sorrow of abortion.
Suzanne Guy is an anti-abortion rights advocate. She and her daughter lobbied for the bill.
So her mother says that the doctors kept pointing back to the law.
Yes.
And that was the reason why they told her she didn't have a choice in this.
A mom being brain dead, it doesn't even qualify. If she were to be taken off life support, that does not even qualify as abortion under our law. And our heartbeat law in no way, shape, or form mandates keeping a pregnant mom on life support.
Georgia law does not specify what happens if the pregnant person is brain dead.
Do you think there should have been an exception in Adriana's case?
Rachel, I don't. That little boy is valuable and deserved to be protected and fought for.
In a statement to ABC News, the Georgia Attorney General's office said there is nothing in the Life Act that requires medical professionals to keep a woman on life support after brain death. Removing life support is not an action with the purpose to terminate a pregnancy. In initial statements in May, Emory Healthcare said they make individualized treatment recommendations in compliance with Georgia's abortion laws and all other applicable laws. But in a recent statement to ABC News, they did not mention abortion laws, saying in part, "We are foremost guided by patient autonomy, and in situations where patients cannot express their preferences, we rely on their advance directive, healthcare agent, or legally authorized surrogate decision maker. This extends to healthcare decisions at the end of life."
We have murky questions about how is the law in the state to be interpreted? Are people too afraid of getting in trouble somehow if they don't act in a certain way?
Doctors say keeping the fetus healthy inside the womb of a brain-dead mother can be difficult, but it can be done.
If the placenta is getting enough blood flow so that the baby is getting enough oxygen, the baby can do okay.
Dr. Vincenzo Bergella is a maternal fetal medicine specialist who has studied all 35 known cases of brain death in pregnancy worldwide. Only 4 were in the first trimester, before 14 weeks. Only 2 of those babies survived.
These are very rare cases. At 9 weeks, chances are, even if you want to continue the pregnancy, that the baby is not going to make it.
Adriana's pregnancy on life support lasted 16 weeks.
Is there no protocol? There's no agreed upon method. To be blunt, we don't know what we're doing.
Okay, he's right. They don't know what they're doing. This is like Frankenstein. This is like some sort of sick medical experiment, if you ask me. It just reminds me of Pet Cemetery or something crazy. Okay. Soul Sister says they treated this woman's body like a science project. So wrong. Experiment on your own, not us. Okay, that's just what I really feel like. And here's the thing. Above all that drama said, so they had the baby in there kept while she was decomposing. Yeah, because here's the thing. A person can be on life support, but especially if they're brain dead, they will eventually decompose. Because while machines maintain circulation and breathing, they cannot stop cellular decay, infection, and breakdown. This is disgusting. Okay, I want y'all to think about this, leading to slow deterioration, discoloration, and tissue breakdown over time, even with intensive care. Life support keeps the body functioning artificially, but natural biological processes, especially the loss of hormonal regulation from the brain, can cause the body to slowly break down internally and externally. Who is thinking about keeping this child alive when the likelihood of the child living a successful, healthy life are very slim to none? They've only had two successful births, okay, after this has been done. And now this child has a host of problems, okay, that somebody's going to have to deal with, likely the grandmother. Okay, this is all crazy. And who's going to pay for the medical bills?
I'd be worried if we presented this as a treatment. It's not. It's an experiment.
World-renowned bioethicist Arthur Kaplan says Adriana's case.
See, isn't that what I just said? And I haven't listened to this. Okay, it is a darn experiment, and this is sick. Okay, this is absolutely sick. Now, they're trying to frame it as though, oh, we're trying to save this child. We want to preserve the child's life, but there's no guarantee that child's even going to live. The child is currently fighting for his life, can't even breathe on its own. Can you imagine the struggles that this child may have to go through in life if it does survive? Oh, this is all sad.
Raises significant ethical concerns.
The ethics of whether you'd be willing to do that come up against a pretty strong principle: do no harm. And here you're worried that you're going to harm that fetus. It's really unlikely that we're going to be able to give you a life that isn't short and one of suffering. Is that worth pursuing? I think it's cruel to the fetus.
Show your daughter how much you love her with this. To my daughter.
In June, when Adriana was around 26 weeks pregnant, April received a call from the hospital.
They told me they have to do emergency C-section. Someone called. They're in the process of doing it right now.
When you arrive at the hospital, is Chance born already?
Mm-hmm. Chance is born. And I do skin to skin. I put him on my chest.
Did you decide on the name Chance?
I did.
Why? Why choose that name?
Because I feel like he had a second chance.
Chance weighing just 1 pound and 13 ounces.
How was his health?
Well, his lungs are underdeveloped. He's not your regular premature baby. She did not feed him through food that she ate. She was fed through IV. So there's a big difference. He's struggling, but he's gaining weight. He's struggling with his breathing.
These babies can be for months in the hospital, can have lung problems, heart problems, eye problems, ear problems, may need to be on oxygen for a long, long time.
Those born less than 28 weeks are 10 times increased risk of cerebral palsy. These babies are also at increased risk of intellectual disabilities.
4 days after baby Chance was delivered, Adriana was taken off ventilation. This was one of those emotional last moments.
Can I ask what those final goodbyes were like?
It was hard. It was hard. It was hard. It was hard. And every day I think about her, every day.
Baby Chance, now 6 months old, weighing just 11 pounds. He's still in the NICU and still cannot breathe on his own. April says he won't be coming home anytime soon.
Each case needs to be fully discussed with the families because ultimately they're left with that hardship if the baby's able to make it past the NICU discharge.
April is also raising Adriana's 7-year-old son, Chase.
When he asks about her now, what do you tell him about her?
That God needed her more.
For April, it's not just about the loss of her daughter, but women across the country, hoping her pain can help spare someone else.
When you think about Adriana, what do you think she would have wanted in this scenario?
She would have wanted for her parents to have a choice to make the decisions for her because she couldn't. That's what she would have wanted.
Rachel, this story sparks so much pain and so many questions. What's the hospital say about how it treated this case?
Well, Byron, we did ask Emory for specific details on the decisions made around Adriana's care. They went to the family and asked to waive the privacy rights, but were turned down. But what we do know tonight is that baby Chance is still in the hospital and still unable to breathe on his own.
Rachel, thank you so much for covering this story with so much grace and clarity. We appreciate it.
What kind of life is that? That poor child has been in the hospital for 6 months already and not coming home anytime soon. Okay, they should have just let nature take its course. The baby should have been allowed to just peacefully leave here with the mother. Okay, this is all crazy because this child is not going to have a normal life. Probably going to have continued suffering if it even survives. This is so sad. Okay, experimenting. That's all they're doing. This is all so sick. Okay, Dynamic Quality Universal says, sadly, this is an example of why politics matters. You're absolutely right, beloved. You are absolutely right. Okay, that is the sad truth. Thank you for your insight into the topic, beloved, and your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Okay, so anyway, with that all being said, let's talk about these women in Atlanta, honey. These Black women who got tricked and scammed about a house flipping venture. And shout out to the Shade Room for reporting this. Okay, let's get into it. I'm going to be using an overlay. We have to talk about that Michigan coach too. We have to talk about that Michigan coach too, because he has a host of other problems, honey. Okay, he appeared in court, and it's just not looking good for him. So we're going to get into that in a moment.
Come to class, don't miss it. Come get this good education.
I invested 65,000.
90K I invested with her.
But what they say this woman in Atlanta is really selling? A nightmare, tricking other Black women into getting business credit cards to fix and flip homes with her.
We've given them everything that we have in our savings.
They say once you get your money, things get funny. One of the homes catching fire, money unaccounted for. What's really going on behind Black girls in real estate?
I did not do anything wrong.
I'm Justin Carter. This is TSR Investigates. Now, one person reaching out to us is one thing, but when several women came forward claiming they were duped out of hundreds of thousands of dollars from someone in Atlanta, we started asking questions. What was the promise?
So she would teach you how to get the funding. She had a team that could help us, the contractors, lenders, the credit people.
This is how they say Janine Searcy, CEO of Black Girls in Real Estate, lures people in on social media, private one-on-one coaching courses to teach Black women how to invest in real estate, flipping homes and turning them into a decent profit. Tara, a real estate agent based in New Jersey, she says she was all in.
I felt like, you know, this would be a place for me to start. Realtors always need a second hustle.
How much did you spend?
So for the class, it was $25,000.
$25,000 for 8 virtual sessions. $25,000.
I know it was.
No, ma'am. Do y'all hear this? $25,000 for a class from this lady? She's not a university. Girl, please sit down somewhere. There's no way I would have paid that kind of cash. Okay, for $25,000, honey, I guarantee you, I'll go do the research and find out how to do this stuff myself. I'm not paying anybody $25,000, okay? To learn what? This is all crazy. They should have known that it was a grift when they heard that. Okay, yeah, she is crazy. Okay, Nita's a Mike Swirl. Absolutely agree. Just like where they do that at. But let's continue.
You know, now that I think about it, I'm like, I could have went to school for $25,000.
She went through with it anyway. And that's when she says the red flag started immediately.
The first class, she canceled and had to reschedule. So it was more of, hey, girl, I can't make it today. I got to go get my hair done type of situation.
Girl, I can't make it today. Got to go get my hair done after I paid you $25,000. Oh, no, ma'am. Absolutely not. And then she said the red flag started immediately. No, they didn't, honey. The red flag should have started when she asked you for $25,000. That should have been a clue right there. Some people are just, you know what? These people probably think they're so smart. Okay, these people probably think they're so smart, but you know what? They may be book smart, okay? But like my mother used to say, honey, some people have book smarts. They don't have common sense, and nor do they know how to exercise critical thinking skills, because clearly none of these women did, honey. This is so crazy. There's no way in the world. And one lady said she gave $60,000. $60,000 what? Where? To who? All crazy, but let's continue.
And that should have been a red flag for me immediately. But, I was just like, let me just get the information and keep going.
She says a big part of the class was about funding. Seriously, guiding you to build your own LLC and get the loan process going.
She connects us with this group called Fund and Grow, and they get us business credit. So they apply. You don't even see the applications. You just see the cards coming in. So we ended up getting, between me and my husband, $120,000 in business credit.
Excited to get started flipping homes in New Jersey, she was told there were no profitable homes to flip in her area.
She comes to me, she says, listen, I know you can't find a project. I have a personal deal that's going on. Do you want to join? I don't really do this. But, I know that you really want to do this.
It was a 1.2.
Let me tell you all something for future references. When someone comes to you saying things like, I don't normally do this for people, but I'm going to help you out, and they don't even know you, please pay attention, okay? Because they're probably lying. It's probably a scam. It's probably just some sort of manipulation tactic to lure you in to get your money. Because if you don't know me, why in the hell are you so likely to help me? Okay, and you're not doing this for anybody else, and you've never done this for anybody else. It's just me. What's so special about me? Okay, I'd have several questions, because that's just a line that grifters use. Now, there are some people who legitimately want to help others, but I'm just saying, for the most part, when these scammers are operating, that's something they commonly say, just to try to elicit your trust, okay, to make you feel like comfortable with them and think they're really trying to see you win. Okay, but really they're trying to see themselves win, okay, at your expense, no less.
$1 million build here on Claremont Terrace in Atlanta.
You're in New Jersey. Did you want to invest in properties in Atlanta, or that was just what was offered to you?
That was what was offered. Of course, I would love to invest more where I was, but what I've sent her, she just was like, that's not worth it. The profits is too close. It's too tight. It's not worth it.
She agrees to go in on the project, $90,000. Circe and her business partner, Tyler Williams, they put up $1.1 million through their own individual LLCs.
I wire transferred from all those credit cards to multiple different accounts. That should have been another red flag.
She says that 2 other women whom she never met, they were also stakeholders on the project.
I went down there and I went to go visit the site without her. It was nothing done. It looked like it wasn't even touched.
That was in March 2024. In their contract, the property was to be renovated and sold within about 6 months. They guaranteed Tara a 200% return too. Her $90,000 original investment plus a $90,000 profit when it was sold.
She was like, oh, we had some issues with structural. We signed in March. This was June.
Okay, another red flag, right? When something sounds too good to be true, it usually is. She's talking about guaranteed a 200% return. Okay, that should have been another red flag.
We were like, you didn't even tell us, like, what the situation. She's like, it's not a big deal, but it's an additional $20,000 or something that they had to pay.
She paid for the back door, about $7,000. But that's all she could do.
We're out of money. We are totally out of money.
By this point, over a year goes by. It's May 2025. She wanted out of the deal altogether, but she says Circe refused and has yet to pay her back. And remember, she did take out a business credit line for this. Hey roommates, before we go any further, do us a big one. If you love some TSR Investigates, make sure you go ahead and like this video and subscribe to the Shade Room's YouTube channel for new weekly episodes of this show and more.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
Okay, let's get back to it. How much is your monthly payment? You're still paying these monthly payments?
I'm close to about $6,000 a month. It's more than my house bills. We've given them everything that we have in our savings.
And she is not alone. It happened to Makisha McClinton in Georgia.
We won't get our money back.
And Charlotte Wolcott in Tennessee.
She's really good with kind of talking a good game once she gets the investment or the money.
This was to be $1 million homes we're talking about.
It was set to sell for $1 million and something.
Wolcott wiring $65,000 to go in on this $870,000 flip property in Atlanta's prominent Buckhead neighborhood.
Per the contract, if it sells, then my return on that investment would have been a return of $100,000.
But the dream, it was short-lived.
This is the house. Look at this.
October 2024, months into the flip, it burned down.
I don't want to go all the way up in this thing. I definitely don't want to fall in. I mean, you could see it is completely I cannot believe this.
When the house did burn down, was it a mysterious fire? Did you feel like there was something going on with it?
She says on her own Facebook, her live on Facebook on that day, it burned for 6 hours and nobody saw it. But you can see in the video that she's doing, there's a house right next door.
We did get a hold of the fire incident report. Fire investigators, they were called to the scene, but the cause, it was listed as undetermined. McClinton, she was a stakeholder on the project too, and says it wasn't adding up.
And they sold a property in May, and they didn't even tell us they sold the land for $800,000. And they had got a check, so we asked for documentation. They said they didn't get all the check from the insurance. I said, well, can you send me over the document as to why they didn't send over the full amount for the burn down? We never received it. We never received the document for the purchase of the home or the sale or the insurance check.
Instead, she says they took their investment money and funneled it into another flip project miles away, a project they knew nothing about.
If we're willing to take the loss, let us take it. Mm-hmm. They would not tell us the loss. They would not give us any of the money back.
Oh, let me tell you something, baby. I would have them in court so fast. This is crazy. Okay, this is absolutely crazy. These are some fools. These people play you like that and then giving them $90,000. Okay, now they done burned down that house, honey. Okay, please trust and believe. They burnt that damn house down. Okay, that's what they did for insurance purposes. All right, that's what they did. And they may even know somebody, please pay attention, that works at the fire department. Okay, let me tell y'all something, honey. I live in Atlanta and I know the shady shenanigans that many of these real estate people get into. Okay, I absolutely do. I used to work with a real estate attorney, okay, as an intern when I was in college, honey, and the shady stuff that goes on, okay, it's a whole lot. So I guarantee you they burnt down that damn house. And then now sitting here acting like they can't give them any information, but you got their money. Her heads would roll.
Even from the nothing. They just kept it and kept on going and started basically ignoring us and stopped responding.
Ashley Wilson from South Carolina says they stopped responding to her too when she pumped the brakes on her $61,000 investment in Chicago back in 2023.
Once we got into the project and closed on it, mysteriously, we didn't have a contractor. Janine did not help with trying to find someone.
When they did find a general contractor, the construction costs were $60,000 more than expected.
It came to a point where they asked for additional funds from me. The first time I did provide some additional funds, which is almost $4,000. It was paid directly to the GC to keep the project moving. Mm-hmm. But then the second time when they came, I'm exhausted all my funds. I'm not adding any more. We need to reevaluate.
She says Searcy was not happy.
Contract clearly says all I had to provide was the $61,000. I fulfilled my side of it. So she hires an attorney to try to mediate between us to figure out how we could get to a settlement.
The fix, they wanted to bring 2 more people on the project to help with funding.
The other piece of that settlement would include an NDA. And then she's saying that I couldn't sue her for the coaching fees, which was
absolutely not. Okay, first thing that she said that was crazy is she said talking about the lady that's doing the grift, said she hired an attorney to mediate between them. You're not hiring any damn thing, okay? How come I can't hire the attorney? Okay, at the end of the day, I wouldn't have trusted that either, because clearly the attorney would be working in her favor 9 times out of 10. But girl, y'all are crazy.
It's $25,000. So I declined. Fast forward, they moved forward with doing the renovation. It closed on October 24th of this year.
$150,000 below what it was projected to sell for. Wilson says she's still waiting to get her initial investment back.
Well, honey, you're not getting it. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you're not getting that investment back. Honey, those people are long gone. Okay, Measurement says they didn't learn from the beauty store scam here at ATL. That was just last year. What? Can't sue. NDA. Measurement, you are so hilarious. Exactly, beloved. Okay, they didn't learn. Okay, I find it all interesting. They didn't hear about that thing with what's that guy's name? Oh, what is that guy's name that was into it with Tony the Closer? Y'all know who I'm talking about, the Dominican dude. I cannot, his name escapes me at this point. But he had that whole thing going. He was doing something where he was telling people about the rebuilding Tulsa, Oklahoma, or something like that, and had all these people investing, honey, and it was all a wash. Those people lost their money, honey, never to be compensated. Okay? Never to be compensated, honey. At the end of the day. Terry Hint says, Queen, are we going on the spiritual channel? I'm not sure, beloved. But I tell you what, if we don't go today, we'll definitely go tomorrow. I promise. Okay, I promise. But it'll probably be tomorrow because I have somewhere to go today. Okay. Love you and thanks for asking. Okay, and thank you for your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings. We're gonna be on the spiritual channel this week, you all. Come hell or high water, I promise. Now, with that all being said, let's listen to the rest of this because, honey, this lady's not getting any money back. Neither are any of those people, sad to say.
She says terms of their contract were simply not met.
A lot of times people hear the financial losses, but they don't get to see the emotional and mental trauma. PTSD is greater than me, and I want.
Honey, they don't care about your trauma, your PTSD. All they care about is money and grifting people. Now that they've grifted these women, they're on to the next, doing the same thing again, okay? Laverne says, these women are educated fools. Love you, Queen. And I love you right, Black, beloved. And thank you for your insight into the topic and your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings. Okay, this is all crazy. And Terry, thank you, beloved. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. So with that all being said, honey, this is just, it's really sad that people give up tens of thousands of dollars to people that they don't even know because they didn't know this lady. They found this lady on social media. Okay, why would you trust her with thousands of dollars? All right. And then you're signing contracts and you don't have your own attorney overseeing it, looking over it before you sign. And now she's talking about an NDA and you can't sue. Girl, please. Okay, couldn't have been me at all.
Want to be able to really truly be that advocate for people who may not be able to speak up or feel like they can't speak up because of it.
Now, a Facebook page was created where dozens of women came forward sharing similar stories, many of them banding together and getting an attorney to take legal action against Circe and her affiliates. Now, we did reach out to Circe and her representatives. They told us they would provide a statement, but we did not receive it before publication. Here's what Circe said, though, in a since deleted Facebook Live video addressing some of their concerns.
There's got to be somebody to blame. I feel like I'm being blamed right now. Their money is being held in an investment. They don't want it to be held in investment. They want their money back today. So now it's like a shakedown, right? Like we're going to blast you. We're going to, put you out. I have a lawyer as well. I have all my paperwork. I did not do anything wrong. The project is in construction right now, and that's just what it is.
No, that's not just what it is. Bitch better have my money if it was me. Baby, I'd be coming to pay her a visit, and it wouldn't be friendly, okay? I want y'all to pay attention, because there's two things I don't play about, my kids and my money, okay? Please. Now, she's sitting up there talking greasy and talking about, I got my lawyer and all this. Now you're talking ish? Girl, I would have come to pay you a visit real quick, okay? I promise you that. At the end of the day, and I will be reporting her for possible insurance fraud. I will be pressing charges for fraud, period, okay? Forget all that BS that she's talking about. about. Now, OG Patrice said, Queen, you're talking about Jay Morrison. That's his name. That's him. Yeah, this sounds like the same ish he was doing. Okay, sitting there getting people to invest, and then you just prolong it, talking about, oh, it's under construction. We got this, we got that going on, and all of this. And you're supposed to just hold these people's money and not give them any answers when they have questions, and then you get annoyed when they start to catch you in lies. Like I said, couldn't be me. This is all crazy. Buyers beware. You all need to really pay attention, honey, and be careful when you're dealing with any type of real estate ventures with shady people. Okay, you may not know they're shady, but if you don't know these people, don't give them the benefit of the doubt. Okay, treat them like the stranger that they are, with skepticism.
So I will do my best to continue to push this project forward. Again, with integrity. I could absolutely, be a better communicator in certain things, but I cannot control the market. I cannot control a house burning down. God, I wish that house hadn't burned down, because we would have been finished by now and it would have been absolutely gorgeous. This is my real life. This is what I do. So while you're screaming and yelling, I'm over here working the business, finding the solutions, to push projects faster, doing the things that we need to do to make it happen. And that's just what it is.
Now, I was told she and her attorneys are taking legal action, and they do plan to file defamation lawsuits against those women making these claims against her. If or when that happens, it's still unclear. For TSR Investigates, I'm Justin Carter.
Well, I can tell you right now, she's definitely not going to win a defamation lawsuit. And here's why: because they're not lying on her. The first element of proving defamation is to prove that the person lied on you, that what they said is in fact not true. It is true. What the hell is she talking about? The house burnt down. You haven't given them any paperwork, documentation, haven't told them the cost of the loss, haven't done a myriad of things. So where is the lie? Okay, at the end of the day, she's keeping them in limbo. And then what really gets me upset is the fact that she's acting as though they're annoying her because they're asking questions while y'all are over there yelling and screaming. Yikes, they gave you tens of thousands of dollars. Okay, I would be asking questions too. I'd be very upset. Measurement said she would like, she sound like that Airbnb lady in Florida. I just looked. JT Pocket Watch and exposed her 2 years ago. Y'all remember the millionaire trucking lady? Don't tell me that's her. Really? So a whole scammer. All right. No surprise there. Okay. No surprise there. I hope they sue her. She's talking about defamation. Girl, sit down somewhere. And here's how you know she's shady as hell. How dare you try to sue them for defamation because they're asking questions and because they are upset about their money. Okay? Does that even make sense? Anyway, Measurement, thank you for your contribution to the channel, beloved, your insight into the topic. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. This is all crazy. This is all crazy. That's why you have to be careful. You can't be just believing what people tell y'all. Okay, now let's talk about this nefarious coach, Coach Sherrone Moore, okay, from Michigan. He seems to have gotten himself in a bit of a kerfuffle, as you all know, okay, out here lying and cheating. Yeah, because he was married. He's married and messing around with a staffer. Okay, I reported this to you the other day, but now he seems to have even more trouble. Okay, so let's get into it. Showed up to court looking so forlorn, honey. We're going to get into all of it. Now, here's the thing. As if it couldn't get any worse. And let me just tell you all a bit of the backstory that I found out on this whole thing, right? So this man, like I said, is married. That's his wife. Okay, clearly he has a type. That's his wife right there. All right. But this is the lady he was cheating with. All right. So he likes blondes. But with that all being said, here's the thing. So they say that this young lady that he was cheating with, allegedly, she was messing around with him for years. This wasn't something that just started recently, honey. They were messing around for years, supposedly. And then some kind of way, word got out to his boss. Okay. And then they basically told him, you need to handle your business. Whatever you're doing, you need to cut it out or whatever. Okay. So he ended up firing the lady. He fired her. So now they say the boss told him he could either fire her or transfer her to a different department. I don't know why he didn't just transfer her to a different department so she wouldn't be involved with his and he wouldn't be breaking or violating any policy. But for whatever reason, he chose to fire her and she didn't take lightly to it. So she goes to his boss and puts him on blast and says, yeah, we've been messing around for years. Okay, so now he gets fired. And then I guess he crashed out because he was arrested for home invasion and assault. Okay, shortly thereafter. But so now here's what they're reporting. Disgraced ex-University of Michigan football coach Sherrone Moore offered OnlyFans models tickets in exchange for foursome, according to reports. Honey, this man got a whole lot going on. He's got a whole wife at home and a foursome and offering them tickets. Okay, so here's what they say. It said Sherrone Moore allegedly offered OnlyFans models season tickets in exchange for a foursome at a Houston hotel hours after winning the 2024 national championship game, according to reports, which one of the sultry women later denied, by the way. Now, Moore, not sultry. Moore supposedly requested to meet OnlyFans model Mia Sorority hours after his team won the big game at NRG Stadium on January the 3rd of 2024. Now, they say Mia Sorority, a Wolverine super fan who previously claimed the married father of three would send her messages on the Tawdry platform, revealed Moore requested to meet her hours after his team won the big game. Okay, I can see why they call her sultry. I don't even know if I can show y'all this picture, but I tell y'all, y'all know the term. Y'all, I don't even know if I can show y'all this picture of this woman. She needs to sit down. When I tell you, I can't even believe what I'm seeing right now, okay? I can't even believe what I'm seeing, honey. But let me continue because I see why they called her sultry. Okay, I guess that's what you use to describe her. But anyway, the coach said he was seeking some non-sexual fun. That's not what he was seeking from looking at this one. I gotta show y'all this picture. Okay, this is all so nefarious. Show the picture, Queen. Honey, all I'm gonna say is moose knuckle. Okay? That's all I'm gonna say. I'll show y'all in a minute. But anyway, the coach said he was seeking some non-sexual fun, but the then offensive coordinator made the NSFW proposition. Moore was offering me and two other OnlyFans girls season tickets in exchange for a foursome. Okay, hotel fun. This is what Sorority told Outkick using text lingo for the four-person group SEX. This is all nefarious. It's like I'm still laughing at this lady's picture, honey. I absolutely cannot. Michigan beat Washington 34-13 in the national championship, which was celebrated by Sorority, who attended the game in a skimpy outfit. I bet she did, honey. Okay, the pinup further claims that Moore was venting to me about his wife and side chick drama. Ooh, honey, everybody's spilling tea on him. But the Wolverine superfan later denied the report, saying in an X post that it was the result of a misunderstanding. Y'all should see when he appeared in court because he looked so ridiculous. Michigan beat Washington. Oh, I read that already. Hold on. And so anyway, they say the message that was sent was blurred out, but Sorority seemed to confirm its validity in a comment, saying he is really pissed at me and I'm not even the one that broke the story. Okay, at New York Post is. This is what the curvaceous model wrote on X. See, they keep calling this lady curvaceous, sultry. I don't think they've ever seen anybody like this. I'm going to have to show y'all this picture. Let me continue. Sorority previously, I'm just saying, I see why he got himself in some trouble. Okay, Sorority previously claimed that Moore sent her messages on the platform during halftime of a game against Michigan's arch rival, Ohio State on November the 29th. The Wolverines were crushed by the Buckeyes in that game, 27-9. Moore went ballistic on Wednesday. I told you he crashed out after he was fired from his high-profile job for an affair with executive assistant Paige Shiver. Now, allegedly rushing from the Ann Arbor school to her home where he threatened to kill himself with a knife. He was arrested at a church on Wednesday, arraigned on Friday, and is charged with felony home invasion and a misdemeanor stalking and breaking and entering. Now, the felony, of course, the home invasion, that's a felony, but the other two are misdemeanors. But honey, he is still just in trouble. Look at him here. I'm gonna show y'all how he's sitting here. Hold on. This is all a mess. I'm gonna show y'all this picture, but don't y'all laugh. Because this lady can't help how she's built. This lady cannot help how she's built. This is all egregious. That's her right there. That's her right there, honey. I'm talking about camel toe to the teeth. But let me continue. And that's him sitting there looking all forlorn. Okay. DJ Big Six said bad built. Alice called her a she-devil. Pretty Wing said this man had no discipline. He did not any at all. Okay, not any at all, honey. But like I said, he clearly has a type, honey. He likes the blondes. She's got, well, she doesn't have blonde hair, but nonetheless, he likes a certain complexion, clearly. Okay, I'm sorry, honey. This is the OnlyFans model. She said Sherrone was offering me and two other OnlyFans girls season tickets in exchange for a force, honey. Just Anticipate said, that's curvaceous? Dorada said, not the camel toe queen. I mean, did y'all see it? Girl, I hope you didn't wear that to the game because they said she came dressed scantily clad, no less. This is all crazy, but like I said, this man, honey, he has several issues. I wonder what his wife has to say about all of this. She can't be happy or thrilled about it at all. Okay? Let's go to the news report. They're in jail looking like a whole fool. Gotten himself in all this trouble and has lost his good job, probably making millions a year. Now he's a whole felon, stupid self.
Sherrone Moore is appearing in court. On Wednesday, as you may know, he was fired as coach, and then shortly after he was arrested. Now we have learned that he's facing 3 charges: home invasion, stalking, and breaking and entering. The university has said that Sherrone was fired for cause after finding out he was engaged in, quote, an inappropriate relationship with a staff member. We are looking at his first court appearance. Let's listen in.
In light of the factual scenario that gives rise to these charges, my best understanding from a thorough review of the police report and as much body-worn camera as I've had an opportunity to review is that I understand that our victim broke up. They had an intimate relationship for a number of years, defendant and victim, that our victim broke up with this defendant on Monday morning early, that there continued to be defendant making numerous phone calls and sending numerous texts from that time moving forward that she did not answer, did not respond to, and did not want. That eventually she presented herself to the University of Michigan, cooperated in some form of investigation there. As we all now know, defendant was at some point on Wednesday afternoon fired from his employment. He then, at some point soon thereafter, came to her apartment in the address that is alleged in the complaint, barged his way into that apartment, immediately then proceeded to a kitchen drawer, grabbed several butter knives and a pair of kitchen scissors, and began to threaten his own life. I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to make you watch. My blood is on your hands. You ruined my life. And a series of very, very threatening, intimidating, terrifying, quite frankly, statements and behaviors there in that apartment. It was only then, Your Honor, when the victim, she called her attorney and then at some point indicated she was going to call the police, and then he left. And so, Your Honor, while I understand that there isn't evidence to suggest that he directly threatened the victim with any of those implements that I've indicated, the totality of the behavior is highly threatening and highly intimidating. She was terrorized, Your Honor.
Your health deserves more than guesswork.
At Prenuvo, our whole body MRI scans for hundreds of conditions without any radiation.
Mr. Moore, could you state your name, please? Sir, you are not to use alcohol, marijuana, or any other controlled substance that is not prescribed to you. You are not to possess or purchase a firearm or any other dangerous weapon. You are not to engage in criminal conduct of any kind whatsoever. You may not leave the state of Michigan without permission of the court. Prior to your release, you will be placed on a GPS tether. You will not be released before that GPS tether is placed upon you. You must continue all mental health treatment as a condition of your bond. The named victim in this case will not be placed on the record. You may not have contact with that individual. That means no calling, no writing, no video chatting, no texting, no emailing, or any other form of contact the human mind can possibly fathom. No one in the world thinks that this person is going to reach out to you. Should they do so, and again, no one thinks that they're going to, you may not reply in any form or fashion. The named victim's address will not be placed on the record. You may not go to that location for any reason whatsoever. Are we understood on the no contact and no go to, sir? Yes, Your Honor. If you have any questions about that, you have a good attorney, simply ask them. You understand? Yes, Your Honor.
At this point, beloveds, at this point, the only thing that he can do is just play crazy. And I don't even think that's going to work, but hey, give it a shot. Okay, if I were him, I'd start to... If I were him, I would start acting crazy. Okay? That's the only thing left. All right? It's the only thing he can try at this point, honey, because you have ruined your entire life and career.
Bond will be
So
set in the amount of $25,000 cash surety, as requested by the prosecution's office. This court does not determine innocence or guilt. This court determines flight risk and community safety. The court finds with these conditions in place, it has been met.
I think we've heard enough about his foolishness. Okay. Leaders in Mike's World said, not give it a shot. He needs to do something on it. I mean, desperate times call for desperate measures, do they not? Okay, so listen, I want you all to see this right here. Well, I don't know what's going on. This is all crazy to me. They have a little baby with zip ties on because they're talking about how ICE is doing people so wrong. And they even got a little doll. It's not really a baby, but it's a doll representing a baby with zip ties. Okay, please pay attention. These people are something else.
We wanted to ask the question, what would it be like if Jesus were born today in Chicagoland? And that's why the centurions are ICE officers. That's why our baby Jesus has on zip ties.
Sweet baby Jesus. Y'all hear this?
I hope that everyone who's upset to see a doll with a zip tie on its hands, they're even more upset to see that happening to children, to the real children of God living in the world today.
We wanted to ask the question, what would it be like if Jesus were born today in Chicagoland? And that's why the centurions
Okay, now y'all listen to this. Kristi Noem, protesters interrupt a House hearing from Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. The man's in there shouting, "The power of Christ compels you." You all remember that from The Exorcist when they were trying to exorcise the demon? This is what he's telling her. Let's get into it.
And honored today to have my family with me. I'd like to introduce them to you.
Disruptions of congressional business is a violation of law, is a criminal offense under federal law. Audience members are advised to take their seats and maintain order. The chairman may now ask Capitol Police to remove and arrest the persons creating the disturbance.
Get eyes off our streets, stop terrorizing your community. Get eyes off our streets, stop terrorizing your community. Get eyes off our streets, stop terrorizing your community.
I'm very proud.
Also nefarious at the end of the day. Oh, so crazy. Like stuff, everyone, please. Like and share. Now, let's get into this because just about an hour ago, Senator Raphael Warnock urged people to find common humanity amid shootings worldwide. Okay, so let's see what he's talking about. DJ Big Six said, "What a joke." Exactly. Okay.
Somber morning indeed. And as I make my way to my own pulpit this morning, I'm going to say a special prayer for Brown University and for our nation. And I can tell you that as a pastor who has presided over many funerals, I don't think that there's any pain deeper than when nature is violently reversed. And rather than children burying their parents, the parent has to bear the child. And so we pray prayers for these families, but we have to pray not only with our lips, but with our action. Any nation that tolerates this kind of violence year after year, decade after decade, in random places on our college and school campuses without doing all that we can to stop it is broken and in need of moral repair.
Well, we learned more horrific news that has happened overseas. A terror attack in Australia this morning at a Hanukkah celebration where at least 11 people are dead, according to authorities. Senator, what is your reaction to what appears to be a targeted anti-Semitic attack?
We have to be very clear in condemning anti-Semitism. We're seeing a rise of anti-Semitism in our own country and across the globe. We have to condemn anti-Semitism. We have to condemn hatred and violence wherever it rears its ugly head. And I certainly will continue to do that. But there are those who are trying to stoke fear and hatred all across the globe. And what they're trying to do is convince us that our neighbors are our enemies. We have to reject that premise and recommit ourselves to building what Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. called the beloved community. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. If my neighbors are not safe, I'm not safe. They are not my enemy. We have to find common cause, connect in the deep places of our humanity, and recognize that all of us are children of God. It is a psalm.
Okay. So there you have it. But also, let's talk about what's going on in the UK. Because over in the UK, they're starting to mimic Trump's talking points. I mean, literally using his words verbatim. They're talking about immigrants invading the country. Now, who often refers to, migrants coming over here as invasions besides Trump? And so they're doing the same thing over in UK. So Trump's hatred and divisiveness is simply spreading. Okay?
With our own scumbags, our own predators, and our own sex pests. We do not need to bring in more every day.
Meet the Pink Ladies, a new face of Britain's growing anti-immigration movement. This is not racism, they say, and they're not the far right. But a lot of what we heard sounded an awful lot like the far right's narrative.
I need to get the army involved. We're being invaded.
Well, it's bloody terrible. It's all over Europe. Being invaded
By
illegal migrants.
The Pink Ladies say they're grassroots women concerned about mass migration and what it means for their safety and the future of their country, putting out catchy tunes like this one that market their agenda. This so far small group emerged a few months ago at a time of rising tensions over migration, with the far right seizing on that.
They might say that a lot of the things that you are saying are the talking points for the far right. How would you?
What is far right? Far right is extremists. Far left is extremism. How am I extremist? I'm just a mum who's worked her whole life, who's bringing up 3 children, who lives in suburbia. I don't want my daughter to be sexually assaulted by men that have come over to this country that we've got no background checks on.
That's Orla Minahane. She's a local candidate for the right-wing populist party, Reform UK. Amid this show of pink solidarity and what was mostly a jovial and at times surreal atmosphere, we heard from women worried about their safety and that of their daughters.
Women are scared to walk anywhere, and we live in a small town.
The government doesn't publish detailed figures on crimes committed by asylum seekers, but there have been some high-profile cases that have put women and girls on edge. On top of that, there are the twisted facts that go unchecked.
These 5 women have been murdered at the hands of an illegal migrant catastrophe that this government is letting happen.
Except 2 of the suspects in these 5 horrific murder cases are British nationals.
What is it that is making you feel unsafe?
Well, it's all the rapes, murders, what they've been talking about today.
We've got our own scumbags, our own predators, and our own sex pests. We do not need to bring in more every day.
Meet the Pink Ladies, and you.
I want you all to pay attention because what I find interesting is the fact that they're talking about, these rights and all of this stuff, and these people coming over and committing crimes and assaults and rapes and all that stuff. Well, do they think that only the immigrants are doing these things? Because that's the same thing they say in the United States, quite frankly. But I find it interesting because Britain, one of the most infamous child predators, is from there. His name was Jimmy Savile, one of the most prolific and disturbing child sexual abusers in modern British history. His crimes were exposed after his death and revealed decades of abuse enabled by fame, power, and institutional failure. He was also knighted by Queen Elizabeth. Okay, please pay attention. All right, and they're not worried about the royal family and the things that we've heard about them for decades. I have questions, but you're talking about immigrants. Okay, with that all being said, Jimmy Savile, okay, when he passed away in 2011, best known as a prominent charity fundraiser and had unusual access to hospitals, school, and care homes. So he could just go in there and prey on people, okay, specifically children. He abused hundreds of victims, many of them children, over 5 decades, from the 1950s to the 2000s. Victims included children as young as 5 years old even, okay? Crimes included rape, assault, grooming, and exploitation. He targeted especially vulnerable children, hospital patients, disabled children, and those in care. So please miss me with it when they're talking about these immigrants, because what about him? Okay, and what about people like him? Because he's not the only one. Okay, he is not the only one. This man was like another Jeffrey Epstein, as far as I'm concerned. All right, so anyway, Mrs. Charlie Ward said, you saw the documentary. Okay, so clearly egregious. Now, with that all being said, let's go. First of all, did you all know that Trump is whitewashing Black history? We already know that, right? And he's canceling Black history, or he removed MLK Day and Juneteenth from free national park entry holidays. And guess what he replaced it with? His birthday. So you can go to a national park and get in free on his birthday, but not when it's MLK Day or Juneteenth. Okay, that's what he has done. Low down dirty devil. Completely trying to erase Black history. Also, Nazi groups working with law enforcement. Okay, this has been reported, which we already have known. I told you all in 2020 how the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers and all these wanton supremacist groups, okay, that call themselves militias or what have you, work in concert in unison with the police. I've shown you the footage of the Proud Boys being told by the police to get the hell out of there when the police were about to make arrest, okay, about some protesting or something that was going on back in 2020, if I'm not mistaken. But let's go to the footage. And then also we're going to go to a man who voted for Trump and now he's sitting here crying and whining and just, saying Trump's not doing anything he promised.
This video is out of Little Rock, Arkansas, where you clearly see police officers from the local.
I'm sorry, I didn't even share the screen. I'm sitting here looking at the video myself, and you all can't even see it. Hold on, my mistake. Let me share the video footage. I'm just sitting here watching. Okay, here we go.
This video is out of Little Rock, Arkansas, where you clearly see police officers from the local community coordinating and staging with white supremacists. You've seen one of the white supremacists throw up the Yahtzee salute there in the video, proof evidence of what is going on here. It is something that has been suspected for many years that local white police departments have been coordinating and supporting, at least tacitly, these white supremacist groups. And now we have literal physical video evidence of white officers coordinating, staging with white supremacists and their classic U-Haul truck that they're allowed to ride around in. Anybody else would get a ticket for that. But here you have clear evidence. You see it with your eyes, what everybody has been saying for years. This needs to be investigated. These officers need to be sanctioned.
They absolutely do. Okay, what do y'all think about that? I find it also interesting, but no surprise there. Because like I said, I've been told you all this. Now let's go to this guy who says that he's a MAGA. And I found it hard. I fought hard for Trump, and I'm pissed. Trump is being lied to, used, and set up. Really? So he thinks Trump's being lied to? Or is Trump the one telling the lies and setting others up? Like James Comey and Letitia. Okay, James. The midterms will be a disaster. Susie Wiles plans to send Trump to campaign and everywhere so that when the do-nothing GOP gets trounced, Trump takes the blame. Well, he should take the blame. He's the one at fault. Okay? This man clearly is delusional, in my opinion. You're right. Clearly delusional.
I don't know who's telling the president that this is going well, but it isn't. We, the American people, the Mega Maha base, were pissed. We gave everything fighting for you, and you aren't giving it back, Mr. President. I love you. I'm pleading for you to hear me, but you aren't listening to anybody but Susie Wiles and your crew, her crew of happy liars and crooks. Fire them. Start out by talking to General Mike Flynn and asking him what you can do to get some people that won't sell out, people that can't be bought. Bring them in. Bring in people with the balls to tell you the truth, not cowards and sellouts. That's what we need in this country. Tell me I'm disloyal, guys. Go ahead. Go ahead. Try me. I'm loyal to one thing: our flag, our country, our God, our children's future. I am not loyal to liars and sellouts and crooks. Donald Trump needs to pick a side. Right now, he's leaning into people who are telling him he's MAGA, who's telling him he's doing great. Susie Wiles is setting him up. She's going to send him out in the campaign. She's going to make midterms all about Donald Trump. So when he gets absolutely excoriated, then they're going to say that was a reference.
He said they're going to say that was a referendum on MAGA, and then they're going to use it to shut MAGA down. Okay, well, I hope they do shut him down. They're all idiots anyway, as far as I'm concerned, including him. Because, sir, you just have buyer's remorse. You can sit there and beg and plead with Trump all you want, but Trump doesn't give a darn about you or anybody else. Okay? Now, this guy's doing a video about the Somalians talking greasy about black folk.
Somali's getting way too much motherfucking attention, man. But apparently, we're jealous of Somalians now. Somalis, because they get nice things and they're very successful and they drive nice cars, this chick said. Somali chick, by the way, here in America, hiding from other Somalis out in Somalia. She said, we jealous. We never even knew you motherfuckers was here until y'all start talking on TikTok. You got a voice about you not being black. We knew you wasn't black. That's not the problem. The problem is why you had to come on TV and say this shit. We don't give a fuck. We chilling in our blackness. We loving it. Oh, we didn't know what y'all was. We was outside. We just seen a bunch of strange looking motherfuckers walking around with big eyes and big heads. Trying to hide their shit under Arab garb.
They don't even know they're talking. Now, first of all, I don't condone that, okay? I don't condone that. No, he was wrong for that, and I'm wrong for laughing, but it was funny. He said with big heads and big eyes, trying to hide their ish under Arab garbs. Okay, that was not nice, sir. You should be ashamed of yourself, okay? But let's continue. Just anticipates it, oh dear. I absolutely cannot with him, okay? I had to cut. I had to cut the footage, okay? Let's continue, beloveds. Now, did she just try to drag Black Americans into her fight? Somalia have called Black Americans the most atrocious things. I can't even post the words that they use for us. Don't put us in your fight. You're on your own, buddy. Okay, please pay attention.
Of the population, some of the most vulnerable people in our country. But Trump based his order on a report whose author has made it clear that his goal is to denaturalize and deport as many Somali Americans as possible. This is not about crime. It's not about safety. This is about purging people like me from this country. Minnesota has always been a welcoming place for people fleeing a home country that is blasted by war, poverty, and hunger. Europeans in the 19th and 20th century, Black Americans from the South, Hmong and Vietnamese, Liberians in East Africa, tiny piece of the population, some of the most vulnerable people in our country.
Okay, so Trump is trying to get rid of a bunch of these darker skinned immigrants. We know that's true. But here's the thing. How are we supposed to fight for you and defend you when you go in on us continuously for no good reason? Because what have we ever done to them?
Somali American who lives in Minnesota. It's really disheartening to hear and to read comments about my community, to hear people write, go home. To those people, I want you to know that America is home. I have lived in America since I was 7 years old. So when you tell me to go home, I think, okay, do they want me to go to Minneapolis, where I first lived, or maybe to St. Paul, or Brooklyn Park? Again, we are your neighbors. We are your teachers. We are your principals. We are your lawyers. We are you can fill in the blank. We are Minnesotans.
So Somalis aren't just welfare queens in America, they're welfare queens all over the world. I want you to listen to some of these numbers. In Norway, 73% of Somali immigrants are on government aid. In Sweden, 64% of Somali immigrants do not have jobs or education. In Denmark, 69% of Somali immigrants are on public benefits. And in America, according to President Donald Trump, 88% of Somali immigrants in the United States of America right now rely on a welfare program. So the question is, not only why are we bringing in so many people that are just coming here and becoming dependents of the state? The other question is, why are we bringing so many people here that become left-wing activists, start talking crap about America, and then all of a sudden start scamming the local and federal government to enrich themselves? I can go story after story after story. There's a woman in Minnesota right now that's living in a $1 million house that was paid for by laundered government money, and the partner, her husband, who bought the house, his name is still on it, but he has fled somewhere else. They can't find him. We all know the feeding our children scandal that's going on in Minnesota right now, where they've literally stolen hundreds of billions of dollars from local and federal governments. So the question is, why are we importing so many people from Somalia into America?
Okay, so I absolutely have questions. And here's the thing. Living in $1 million house that you didn't pay for is crazy work. Okay, well, some of us are out here struggling. All right, please pay attention, honey. And talk about we're jealous, honey. We're not in threat of being deported. You are. Okay, so jealous where? Okay, now he said they had big eyes and big heads. So I actually think the Somalians are attractive people. And apparently they think so too, because, you know, they say that they're actually the best looking of all the Africans. Did y'all know that? Honey, that's what they said, but let's continue.
As somebody who used to live in Minnesota, I can tell you right now, Somalians are there for birthright citizenship. If you guys weren't aware, the Somalians have come to claim their birthright citizenship. Now, as you guys already know, the Trump administration has initiated their ICE raids in Minnesota, but the Somalians are fighting back. Now, according to CBS News, where you can pause to read this, the Trump administration is attempting to have ICE raids in Minnesota and are checking the green card holders of Somalian residents who live there. And little does the Trump administration know that the mass majority of Somalians who live in Minnesota are U.S. citizens. And every year, sometime around this year, apparently they do their pilgrimage to the Target Center. And based off of the rhetoric of the Somalians across social media, they're stating that although the Trump administration has implemented these ICE raids, they are willing to work with him to do a two-state solution. I'm not entirely sure why Donald Trump thought that this was going to be easy pickings with Somalians in Minnesota. I'm not entirely sure why he thought that. But little does he know that being that Somalians, their birthright is Minnesota, they're going to fight to the very end for their land. Because isn't that what you're supposed to do when you're being hostily invaded? Like, correct me if I'm wrong.
Somalis are reclaiming their ancestral homeland of Minnesota, and it's making people mad. And while it's not inherently anti-Somaliitic to criticize Minnesota, we should recognize Minnesota is the...
As a Somali American who lives in Minnesota, it's really disheartening to hear and to read.
Okay, so what do you all have to say about that? Because they said that Minnesota, the Somalians say that Minnesota was promised to them 3,000 years ago. It's a lie, they told it. Okay, I want y'all to pay attention. They want what's theirs. I find it interesting because we can't even get what's ours. Okay, it's called reparations. So what about our land?
The people that we meet, especially African Americans, they don't even know their fathers. They don't even know their fathers. It was all of them, most of them were the product of one night stand. One night stand.
And he was like, you guys don't assimilate to our culture.
They're always mad about something.
Yeah, they're always mad. I'm so sorry that we're not like assimilating to your victimhood because we don't come from that like type of culture. We don't come from here, build businesses, put people in government positions and mayors and Congress people, and you're mad that we're able to do that in 30 years, and it took you guys 300 years to even be recognized as human beings. You were 1/5 of a freaking human being, and you're angry that we were able to do that in 30 years.
Now, putting aside the obvious anti-Blackness that is coming from both of those statements, that is what they teach in their churches. That is how they speak about the Black community on their lives. Calling us victims because we have the nerve to call the U.S. out on its BS and its foundation of racism, a foundation of racism that kept us in chains for 400 years, and then burn down all of our towns and communities that we made after that just because they didn't want us to succeed, and then took out all of our leaders and the heads of our households systematically in many different ways through not only Jim Crow laws and physical violence, but systematically through policy that lasts to this day. And they're up here calling us victims for continuing to fight for not only our right, but their right to come in here 30 years ago and just skip to the end and create businesses that we fought for. They were able to come in here after all of the work was done, like the police in a scary movie, and make businesses and better themselves without having to deal with the amount of racism that our people fought to end. And they're going to sit here and think that they did something special because they were able to come in this country and start businesses and run for office, things that they would never have been able to do without the blood of our people. Now that's where it started, that bit of superiority anti-Blackness that they have because they never had to actually fight for the rights that they have in this country. So when the first Black woman president goes for office, they start demonizing her immediately. It was second nature for them to demonize her and to encourage people to vote third party and encourage people to abandon Biden and encourage people to punish her. It was second nature because they never liked us to begin with. It was nothing for them to vote third party or vote for Bone Spurs himself because they did not view themselves as Black people. They didn't want us anywhere near their community, even though they took advantage of rights that they wouldn't have without us. Now, of course, now that Bone Spurs is attacking their community, sending the frozen people into their communities, no matter whether or not they are undocumented, it doesn't matter. That is something that the Black community tried to tell people in 2024. It does not matter if you have legal status. It does not matter if you are documented here or have a green card or have citizenship. He does not want you here. That has been plain to us from the beginning. But you think you're better than us. You think you are more human than we are. Because it took us 300-400 years to be considered human in this country. And you came after the dirty work was done, that you thought you had a leg up. So obviously now that he's coming into your neighborhoods, you're going to keep that same energy, right?
President Trump and the base that is attacking our community. We understand that you are here to divide us, to create fear amongst us, and to selectively target the Blackest, immigrant, and Muslim community in this great state. President Trump has had a history of targeting Black people long before he ever ran for any office. And we know that the identity of who we are is part of the attack.
Nope. Stay over there. You want to pull the Black card now. You want to start talking about how he has always targeted Black people now. After he starts targeting your community, a community that did not see themselves as Black. Don't be Black now. Keep that same energy, bruh. Stay over there. The Black people ain't got nothing to do with it. Just like you didn't want to have anything to do with us. Stay over there. Y'all made that bed with your endorsements of Bone Spurs, with your anti-Blackness when it came to Kamala Harris. You made that bed for voting for Jill Stein. Where's she at, by the way? Is she speaking out for you? I only see her every 4 years. I never see her anytime in between, like at all. So nope. You can stay right over there and deal with the problems that you created for yourself. Don't be victims. Don't try to call out racism and blame your skin color now. You won't doing that before off of your 30 years of creating business.
That's right. Like, don't even go there. No, he didn't say he's always targeting Black people. Like, sit down somewhere, okay? And here's the thing. They're talking about that Minnesota was promised to them. Where did they get that from? Okay? Because absolutely not, okay? The phrase that Minnesota was promised to Somalis came from internet memes, sarcasm, and political trolling, not history. Okay, some posts exaggerate Somali pride in Minnesota or mock U.S. immigration debates. A few viral clips show individuals joking or speaking rhetorically about claiming Minnesota. These, however, are not official cultural or religious beliefs. Okay, they say Minnesota has the largest Somali population in the U.S., mostly due to refugee settlement beginning in the 1990s after Somalia's civil war. Job opportunities were offered, established community networks. Somalis are U.S. residents or citizens like any other immigrant group. Land ownership and political authority in Minnesota are governed by U.S. and state law, not ethnicity, religion, or ancestry. Okay, so I don't know where they got that from, that it was promised to them. Okay, historically speaking, indigenous peoples, especially the Dakota, Sauk, and the Ojibwe, okay, I'm not sure how to say that word, are the original inhabitants of the land. Okay, so where are they getting this from, you all? Where do y'all think they're getting this from, that they are owed Minnesota? Because I have several questions. Okay, please pay attention. Okay, please pay attention. What do y'all think about that? Because they say especially the Dakota Sioux and the Ojibwe, Anishinaabe are the original inhabitants. Even they do not claim ownership in the modern legal sense. Their rights are defined through treaties and federal law. Okay. Bottom line is Minnesota does not belong to them. There was no prophecy, treaty, or religious text assigns Minnesota, assigning Minnesota to Somalians, and they're just part of the large population. Okay. But where do they get off being so anti-Black though, and saying that we're the products of one-night stands? Is that what they said? That most of us Black Americans are products of one-night stands? Is that really what they think? Because that's crazy. Okay, that's really crazy. And the nerve of them to talk all greasy but think we're supposed to defend them. Honey, I'm not defending you. Okay, because collectively, y'all don't like us anyway. And that's just what it is. Okay. So anyway, with that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. So Sister said, how dare them say we are the products of a one-night stand? I know, right? Who do they think they are? And then now all of a sudden talking about they're black? No, you're not. You never said you were. Okay. Anyway, they have a lot of darn nerve. All right. So, quite frankly, I don't care what Trump does to them at the end of the day. All right. Y'all not here for us. And if you're not with us, then you're against us. So there's that. Okay, so anyway, everyone please like and share, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, I love you all to life. I hope you enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Peace.
Hit 'em with that flavor. All in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got